Special editions. Who doesn't love a special edition? But just how special are they? Let's talk about it today. So, who among you doesn't love a nice special edition release? Something just that slight bit different than your standard Amaray release. Something that gives you a little bit extra, that may have a little bit more of a sparkle to it, but obviously incurs a bit of an additional cost. Now, special editions are nothing new. We've had them throughout the time of DVD when we had steelbook releases. There were specially packaged releases. Even if you go back as far as VHS days, there were special edition releases done. Who doesn't remember the Star Wars Executor box set? I think that's what it was called, the big steel tin. Or the Aliens release that came in the moulded black box. They've always done them. They've always been there. They've always been part of physical media collecting. And that hasn't changed. But what has changed is the amount that get released. Now, there's not a week goes by that a release like something like this over my shoulder gets released. A steelbook in a rigid slipcase with a book or some art cards or some other bump to fill it and get more money out of you as the consumer. Yes, companies are shifting their tactics to sell more items like this. And this came about generally because of COVID. It was around that time. Yes, before that you had special editions being released, but during COVID, when everything shut down, when the film studio shut down, the powers that be in these companies that sell physical media, they had nothing to sell, so they started panicking. So they started looking at their back catalogue of titles and packaging differently and sending them out there to the masses to purchase in droves. And now we are where we are with these releases. Steelbooks, every single film almost will be issued a steelbook release, all the big ones at least. And every company is releasing this kind of a thing. So just how special are these releases? And that's what this question is that I'm posing, because as these releases come out more and more, you take away that factor, you take away that special factor, and you're left with what is actually the norm. And when every film is given a steelbook release, now I know, I appreciate what I'm saying is that not every film is, but every major studio release will generally be given a steelbook release at some juncture. And when every film is being given something like that, you take away what is special about it, because it is the norm. Now, there's no one out there, no collector, that manages to keep up with every single special edition release that comes out. You'd be stupid to, because some of these films are not going to be for you. Certainly myself, I do let some go. Most recently, I mean, for argument's sake, I've not picked up The Exorcist one. I'm talking about The Exorcist Believer. I've not picked the film up at all. Steelbooks for things like Saw X, I didn't pick up because I don't need everything akin to that. So when you've got all this stuff that's being pumped out to us, because this is the new wave, this is the new trend, this is how physical media companies are trying to keep themselves alive and significant by releasing stuff like that. Now, obviously, we get other releases, much like the Maverick one here, or the Rambo one there. That's from that Blue Fans or something like that. I forget the company that released that. It's the one that went in with Zavvi and have recently parted ways with Zavvi. You get something a bit extra with things like that. But obviously, with that comes the cost of purchasing. But you know, my point is just how special are these special editions when you do get them all the time. They take away that special feel. And a lot of them, steelbooks primarily, do end up in offers, and you can pick them up further down the line. The only problem is you don't know which steelbooks are going to sell out and which steelbooks are not going to sell out. The same with special edition releases. You don't know which ones will sell, which ones won't sell, and which ones will ultimately end up in a bargain bin on Zavvy's website or something like that for you to pick up later on down the line. So we're left with a conundrum, and that conundrum is, do we pre-order and do we buy at the time of release? Now, my habits, my physical media collecting habits over the past few months have seen a shift. Now, a year ago, I did say that I was going to slow down on my purchasing, and that didn't really happen. It still carried on and carried on and carried on until the latter part of last year, where we get ourselves to now, and you know, I'm finding myself picking up far less shall we say, and getting the things that I really want to get, but also I'm delving into more and more of these kind of releases. And I think that's just evolution of 4K and Blu-ray releases. They're targeting the collector now. As the market becomes more and more niche, the collectors that are left are generally, for the most part, the ones that do love something different and are willing to pay that little bit extra for that premium release. But you're getting nothing special in the sense that you're just getting the norm now. You're getting given the norm. Now, for me, I'm always disappointed when I open up one of these and there's a picture booklet within rather than a booklet with some text. I feel that picture booklets are very lazy because generally you open up the packs, the sets you've got, and you get given some postcards, you get given a poster, and you get given a picture book. It's all the same stuff, just in a different format. It's just pictures. At least with a book with some text in it, some time has been spent, and you can sort of take that as a special feature. Where a lot of discs now lack special features like what they used to have, I don't mind that sort of making of information being bundled up and put into a nice square bound little book, glossy book, that I can actually flick through and read. After all of us should read some more. That's most definitely true. So for me, special editions don't feel that special now unless you step into the realm of Wheat exclusives or HD Zeta and things like that. We do get standard studio releases like the Film Vault range that are trying to do something a bit different, packaging it different, larger, with some more stuff that do give you that appeal of something special. But when you're looking at these kind of releases here, the special factor doesn't really feel like it's there anymore. It feels like these are just becoming the norm, the standard releases. So how special are our special editions? I think ultimately that question comes down to the individual. That answer lies within each of us, and I think it depends on how special that film is, how special that release or that film is for us, and only therein can we get that answer. So let me know your thoughts on special editions. Do you feel that this is just a norm now, or do you still see these as something far superior than what we get? I mean, in terms, they are far superior, obviously, but you see what I mean? They're the norm. You can't go a week goes by without this kind of a release for something now. So let me know in the comments down below, and let's talk about physical media and keeping it alive. See you on the next one. Take care all. Goodbye.